This episode is brought to you by Blue Apron's meal delivery service. Fresh ingredients, incredible recipes delivered weekly to your door. Skip the grocery store and make incredible meals at home with Blue Apron. Always ship free right to your home. And now, the listeners of Dainty Thug, y'all will get $30 off for your very first Blue Apron order. To order and to help keep this show free, go to our network website at cspn.us, then click on the Keep Our Podcast free link at the top of the page. From there, scroll down to the Blue Apron link and sign up for your first order. Blue Apron through cspn.us. Do it today. Get your food. Cook some good recipes. Hey y'all, what it is? What's poppin'? Yup. I am back. I know the last time we had a conversation, I told y'all that I was going to not do like big, large gaps and stuff like that. But child, there's a lot of things that happened. Let me tell you. Well, I want to say that I am now, on the CSPN network. They have welcomed me. All right. So I had to find a new home first and foremost for Dainty Thug. Right. And, now I'm back and I'm on fucking Spotify. So I want to say hello to all the motherfuckers who are listening to me on Spotify right now. So I'm really hyped and I'm ready to like cut loose and get really turned now. So, all the shit that y'all loved about Dainty Thug before. So I'm saying all that to say, I'm back, and I'm ready to turn up. So, I be chilling on social media as always, and I was coming across a series of posts across platforms about mostly in the, Black and people of color sections of social media, whether it's Black Twitter, Black Facebook, woke book, or that's how some people call it. And, where a lot of social justice issues and commentary and activists and writers come together, and they're in this section of social media. And it's where a lot of interesting things happen. So for the past couple years or so, there has been an uprise of a lot of Black non-men and feminists complaining about men that they're meeting in these spaces that are still abusing them. And by abusing them, I don't always mean physically abusing them, but abusing them, like manipulating them and basically acting like, top tier trash in these spaces. And in these particular spaces, it's claimed that accountability is what people are searching for. But a lot of it, for certain people, could be very performative. And it kind of brought me to think about, how we're in this political climate where, a lot of people are trying to be very aware of not just who they are, but how they navigate through society. So a lot of, women that I know are very active vocally, physically, financially, professionally on social media and activism. So whether they're creating campaigns, whether they're protesting, whether they're actually working in politics, they have different outlooks on certain things. And a lot of things that they talk about is not just racism, but also education, also, women's health, also gentrification, like everything across the spectrum that affects marginalized groups. And of course, one of those topics always comes up is sexism and misogyny and how women get treated by men. Of course, with the whole men are trash movement and the whole stating, and now that is actually a banned phrase on Facebook, it's always a pushback, right? So like off top, the majority of men, not all men, the conversation. So we're not going to talk about them because that's just a given. But there's a select few that'll be like, yeah, I know men are trash. I'm trash. I'm trying to do better. I'll do whatever it takes to not be as trash as the rest of them, right? So when that happens and occurs, when people want to change, the normal reception of people accepting and being accountable for their flaws is to work with them, right? You know you fuck up and you have fucked up, but you want to be a better person. So with that, people embrace you. They are willing to give you the spoons and they're willing to work with you to keep you held accountable for your actions and to, generally just watch you grow. Now, the issue here is, at least in my opinion, I see a lot of men, not the majority, obviously, but I see a lot of men, going out their way to like drag other men and tell them that they're trash and do the labor essentially, right? And they get in with a lot of Black feminists and womenists on social media. And what ended up happening is they start regurgitating the information that these women are already doing, whether they're writing it, whether they're making their own think pieces, whether they're just collecting tweets or whatever the case may be. The men take that and then they like regurgitate it to like other men and women or whatever the case may be. And then other women see it and they notice what the language is. And they like become a little vulnerable maybe. And they feel like, okay, this dude, he might be cool because he's friends with XYZ and they follow him. So maybe he might be safe, right? That's the impression. And what happens from what I've seen so far, these men get into these social justice circles with Black women and other people of color. And they start using their leverage of, I guess, we're going to call wokeness, I guess, to get closer to these women. So I've, read stories that, men have, gotten money from these women. I even read something that someone faked they had cancer and was collecting money, and some dude was like couch surfing and he was collecting credit cards, getting his bills paid. The latest episode I've read is some dude was dating like multiple women and he was already engaged the entire time. So I just want to get to the point where I've said this before and people have kind of pushed back on what I said and they felt like I was being divisive, but I just want you all to hear me out when I say it. And I want to make some comparisons too. Men can't be feminists. They can support feminism. They can support the people who are feminists. They could rally behind feminists. They can fund feminist programs. Because here's my logic, right? And I want you to let me know what you think. The oppressor can't be part of the oppressed. It's the same as white people walking around claiming that they're pro-black. You can't be pro-black. You could support black people. You could support, but you can't actively be pro-black. That's not your space. That's not your lane. And no matter what you do, you can't be pro-black as a white person. Okay? And I don't do picnics and cookouts, so fuck what you heard. But it's just, don't even think about it. But the reason why I say men can't be feminists, because they navigate society as a man. Even if you sit there and you talk about the issues that affect women, and even if they get it as a man, they grasp it, they understand it, but they have to be able to use their manhood and their position in the society to help women. It's impossible for every man to help every single woman they come across. Like, I'm just being realistic, right? They're going to pick and choose, and a lot of men pick and choose, and a lot of men, are silent when they see other men being trash towards women. And I just want to run down some things that, men who say that they're feminists or, they're down to protect women, what they do in silence, which is equally as hurtful and abusive. So, if you've ever seen your guy, talk shit about a girl that he don't even know, like catcaller and, kind of like street harassment, and you kind of laugh it off, you've just, been complacent to some bullshit, to some trash, because even though your friend didn't hurt her, he embarrassed her. He, brought more attention to her than she probably wanted, and you didn't say anything. If you have seen your friend or your brothers or your cousins disrespect another woman and didn't say anything, you're complacent. I just saw a video on Facebook where a guy somewhere in Baltimore, a guy hit his girlfriend on the bus, and men just ignored it. So all those dudes who, even though they probably say, I have never hit a woman or I'll never hit a woman, if you see a man hit a woman and you do nothing, you're complacent to women being hurt and abused. And usually the, excuse is, well, if she's still in the situation, she clearly like it. No, you as a man are supposed to use your privilege. When you see someone with lesser privilege, you're supposed to inject your privilege to right or wrong. That's what you're supposed to do. So that's my issue with men calling themselves feminists, because they really can't be feminists. They can support feminism, and a lot of times they use that adjacent community to be a different kind of predator. And what I mean by a different kind of predator is a predator in a way they just want to lurk in these communities and do the same shit they was already doing before they got in the communities. Find a couple girls with some friends, start fucking around with them, lie to them, deceive to them, cheat on them, make them cry, lie to them, lead them on. You don't need to call yourself a male feminist if you're still doing the same bullshit you chastise other men for, and then think by just saying sorry, it's okay. Because it's not. Because you look like a fraud, because you can sit here and call out other men, but when it comes to yourself, you have absolutely no type of understanding how you hurt women. and other non-men. And I refuse to believe personally that these men who are purposely and intentionally and have a track record of doing so are just so blinded by their own actions that they just can't control themselves. Now let me tell y'all a story. This shit is based on a true fucking story, okay? This shit happened to me, and the shit was so goofy that at the end of it all, I was thinking to myself, you know, this some real nigga shit. Like, only a man would do some shit like this, right? So, for you all who don't know me, I have a magazine called Fabulous Mag. And part of that magazine has a really popular editorial that has really grown in the past couple years called My Superheroes Are Black. And part of that is I created a community around my popular editorial, which basically promotes Black-owned businesses, Black creatives, Black art. And for the past few years, I attend New York Comic Con to purposely and intentionally cover all the Black creatives at New York Comic Con. So I've met a lot of really cool Black artists and creatives and done interviews with really cool people like Jean Grey and Ta-Nehisi Coates. So that's what I do, right? That's my thing. So part of this community, it's like over 4,000 people. So part of this community is to quintessentially expand my network, but also share my network, right? I try to be, it's a level of altruism to it, but it's had its up and down. The up part, when it's really, really popping, is really cool, because it's able to like bring a community together to do a lot of fun shit. But when shit goes left, okay? So this is one of the first things that went left. So there was a particular artist that I was actually campaigning behind. And by campaigning behind, I meant like sharing his work, using his work for like articles. And I was going to feature him in my magazine, just basically sharing his work with my community and, just vouching for him because, when you believe in a motherfucker, you believe in a motherfucker. Point blank, period. And there was a situation where, this person had deleted their profile and, I believe they had wrote something that was a bit jarring, and it, to me, caused for concern. So I emailed them and, I asked them if they were okay. And it kind of just seemed like they were like, bugging out a little bit. And that happens with creatives. That happens with artists. Whether you have mental blocks or you're frustrated or you're on a deadline, it happens. It's common. Sometimes you just need to talk it out. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's quite normal. So this particular artist, he kind of went on a rant in two different communities, but it was the same topic. He was basically calling out men, telling them what they do or what are they doing to protect and help women. And I saw how the conversation went in one community, and I said, okay, I guess, and then he brought it to my side, and another a former fan of his, told him, that he admired him and he really looked up to him and thought his work was great. And he was just like, I don't need your compliments. I don't need your compliments, and don't fucking tag me. I said, whoa, okay. And it was an interesting reply to a compliment. But hey, everyone doesn't know, you don't have, be nice for what, right? Be nice for what, I guess, whatever. So I said, okay, he doesn't want anyone tagging him. And in my community, tagging people is kind of like part of the interaction. And I felt bad because I'm like, he doesn't want anyone to tag him, and I tag him all the time. So then I started to think that, damn, I've been irritating him all this time. What am I supposed to do? I don't know how. I'm looking for a logical way to process that, because I don't want to be harming anybody on purpose. And I definitely don't want to be irritating anybody. So, I said, you know what? Let me think about this, because this is really interesting. And so I tried to have a conversation, and he was kind of like flippant and really was like, court with me and kind of like one word responses. So I really didn't know how to read that. I said, okay, maybe he's having a bad day. So the very next day, there was a post, very next day in my community. There was a post saying, like, appreciation post, like, tag someone you appreciate or something like that. You have a crush on, something like that or whatever. And multiple women started tagging him. And of course, he loved it. He took all the love with appreciation, of course, obviously. And I was like, sir, you just barked at somebody less than 24 hours ago after displaying the attitude that you're pretty much a better man than the rest of these individuals, and you made a declaration that you don't want to be bothered and tagged by anyone in this community. Yet here we are, a whole bunch of women tagging you, and you don't seem to be bothered by it. What the fuck is the deal? What's popping? Was really good. Honestly, I can't even remember the goofy shit he said. It was like real silly, some real silly shit. I was like, well, we have to rectify this, because I don't want anyone, doing something that you don't like and not knowing it. That was my whole line of thinking. Because if you tell me one thing and I couldn't gauge whether he just wanted certain people to tag him, or I couldn't gauge with it. And when you have thousands of people in the community, you have to think about the whole community versus just individuals. So I did what I logically thought was I could do at the time. I was like, well, I have to remove you until we come up with a solution. I didn't block him or anything like that. I just said, I don't know what to do right now. I can't cater to your particular needs, and I don't know what to do. So I removed him. Oh boy. And he bugged the fuck out. Like, it went from, I'm not mad that I was out the community, to fuck Erica, fuck everything about her, fuck her magazine, to buying sponsor ads saying that I weaponized his mental illness against him. Like, bitch, where are the receipts? Like, okay. And to, like, this was like as a whole smear campaign from something so minuscule. This is the shit that men do. This is what men do that claim that they're here for women. Here is, myself, right? Myself, hosting, moderating, and created a community that focus on, the content that I particularly care about, to giving him the privilege to be part of this community. But because he's a man, he felt obligated to my community because for some reason, I don't know. I had no beef with the kid, like none whatsoever. It's just that, previous to before he started bugging out, previous to that, he would tag me, how ironic, and be like, this is a person you all need to follow. These are the people I respect. So these very interesting things that men do just to be more visible, they attach themselves to certain people to gain visibility in these marginalized communities. And this is why I'm not going to go as far as say that men can't be trusted, even though that's like my gut feeling. But men that are self-proclaiming feminists are dangerous. And they're dangerous because they will take any opportunity, and I mean any opportunity, to prove that they are more of a feminist than the actual women and non-men of said community. And they will take and of course, in these, marginalized spaces, there'll always be capes up, and that's exactly what happened. There'll always be capes. Other women will come to the men's defense. I've seen it happen, like, first of all, I'm not gonna go out my way and cape for a man that's wrong and goofy. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, he could go sit his ass down somewhere and take a chill pill. But I see women, no matter how wrong they are, and I guess this is like a level of pick me shit or whatever, but I would see women go out their way and cape for niggas who are in the wrong, right? Just because they might not particularly like the person that this man is beefing with or trying to beef with. But I've seen, and you know what? Some of these women are still, well, no, I'm lying. Maybe one or two are maybe connected to me. One I don't even talk to. She just be on my page. She nosy, I think. I'm convinced she just nosy. But women tend to throw other women under the bus over dick. And that's when, it becomes real interesting, because you see women who, it's really interesting to really put in words, because I don't want to like denounce people who are coming into their understanding of Black feminism, because a lot of it is new to them. And that's another thing, because when people are new to information and new to new knowledge, they tend to overcompensate. And by overcompensate, I mean they tend to like do the most with the least, and whether it's intentionally or unintentionally, it just shows. So you have a lot of baby Black feminists who use opportunities, especially when men are involved, to kind of like flex their little, feminist muscles. And it's like, he's not oppressed. He'll be all right. He'll survive. But again, it's hard for a lot of women to be feminists because they still center dick. And that's really the main issue here, because they allow these men to run rampant and to get way too close, to have way too much leverage, because they're still centering dick. Stop centering dick, because once you center dick, your whole line of thinking is compromised. It's compromised because on one hand, you're vocal about this issue and this issue, but behind closed doors, you're getting played like a video game. But I'm about to help y'all. Because if it's just a little dick you need or whatever, or you just want to get a little spicy in the bedroom or something, I gotta I'm gonna hook you up right now, okay? You need a little spice in your bedroom. You can surprise yourself or your lover with an adult sex toy, video, and accessory from Adam and Eve. That's all you gotta do. Get your little toy, and I'm gonna help y'all. If y'all listening right now, Dainty Thug Podcast, you can get 50% off discount on any item available at Adam and Eve. You can use this discount on vibrators, sex toys, lingerie, lubes, lotions, condoms, videos of whatever naughty novelty your heart desires. Okay? So if you want this discount, visit the official site of the CSPN.us, then select the Keep Our Podcast free link at the top of the site. And you scroll down and you click through our Adam and Eve link at the bottom, then go shopping. And when you check out, put the promo code half off at the checkout to reduce all the item prices for up to 50%, and you get free shipping. So there's no reason to be a pygmy if you can get sex toys for half off. You heard? Now that I've provided you with some options, you don't have to be subjected to poorly informed men who believe that they can be feminists just to pry in spaces, because quintessentially all they do is talk over women. That's basically what they do. Self-identified male feminists just talk over women, just like self-identified pro-black white people use that label to talk over Black people, because they don't need to be teaching us. Like, self-identified male feminists don't need to be preaching. I just don't want y'all to get y'all feelings hurt. I don't want y'all to get played. I just see it a lot, and I just really want y'all to be aware of the men. Men would do almost anything to be in spaces where the majority are non-men at. And I just want y'all to keep that in consideration. Because usually when men say that they're cool with feminism, it's not that they're cool with the work. They just think that they're going to get with some sexually liberated woman, and they don't really care about body counts. That's not what feminism is, and that's definitely not what it all entails. So I just want y'all to be aware of the motivations that these men have. All right. So I'm just telling you from what I've seen and what I've personally experienced, self-identified male feminists are extremely problematic. And just keep that in mind. When you see them and you hear them online or in the streets, just keep your extra, keep your spidey senses on, and just be aware of how they move and operate. Because trust me and believe me, there's a story behind them, and there is a lot of baggage that you probably don't want to really deal with and fuck with. All right. So I'll holler at y'all. Thank you. Shout out to all my new listeners on Spotify. We're almost at 3,000 subscribers after 13 episodes. Well, this is 14. So let's keep growing. Let's plan a party. Like, for real. That's what I want to do. I want to plan a party. Once we get to like 4,000, let's make the goal 4,000. 4,000 subscribers, I'll have a party and we can all drink and have fun and talk together live. All right. So, hit me up. Y'all know where to find me. Fabulous Mag. Y'all can find me on Facebook at My Superheroes Are Black. Also, please support us on Patreon. All right. Patreon.com/MSAB Fabulous Mag, FABULIZEMAG. It's because of y'all support this show is able to grow. We're able to get busy in public and do our thing. All right. So talk to y'all soon. Later.